What's your take on the idea that the redistricting topic of drawing up new ones can be used to segue into the idea of pushing state electoral colleges for an individual one for each of the 50 states?
Well, the one thing I'll say is that I think our districting should have integrity. And I think the reason why you see a big push right now for redistricting is because the Democrats have been gerrymandering for decades and creating unfair circumstances within our election system. And so I think what we're seeing now is pushback on that. And I think it should continue until we get to a place where our districts are not gerrymandered. They are drawn so that the representatives can get to their constituents whom they serve as easy as possible. There should not be any gender, shouldn't be any skin color, there shouldn't be income level, shouldn't be anything. It should just be voters and the easiest pathway for the representatives in that area to get to where their constituents are to be able to serve them. So continuing on just in terms of the redistricting and as it relates to a potential state electoral college, I think it's a great idea. I totally support it. I also support a convention of counties. I think that our senators should come from the counties. Senators are responsible to represent the sovereign, not directly the people. But I'll say that in order to do the redistricting, you need no legal changes. There's no law changes that need to happen. In order to set up, in order to set up an electoral system within the state, that would require constitutional changes within the states, which again I support. It's just not going to be as easy to happen as it is for us to get redistricting that has integrity.
As far as a state electoral college, I don't know enough about that to really say how that should play in to redistricting. Personally, I would like to see redistricting that had something to do with geographic boundaries mixed with the population, because obviously it has to be populationally appointed. But in our current climate, the way it's a winner-take-all game, I think that the best thing that the Republican Party can do is participate in redistricting and get as many districts as they possibly can so they can have seats in the legislature in D.C. So that's my opinion of it right now. I think that they should be constitutional. I think they should follow the law, but obviously they're set up to be gerrymandered to some degree or another. And if that's the case, if those are the rules we're playing with, then gerrymander away to our benefit and to the detriment of the Democrats, just like they've been doing to Republicans for decades now. So in an ideal world, we would come up with something bipartisan that the partisans had nothing to do with as far as redistricting. But until that happens, I haven't seen any other solution.
Well, it would be a new concept that would give a more granular breakdown of the outcome of the nation. So we'd be collecting a lot more data for the ways that the states would break down, i.e. like right now a whole state flips either red or blue. And it would be more like, say, Nebraska, where you have the one blue dot in the middle of a red state, and so you get a little bit more of a granular breakdown across the country. So it's an interesting concept. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but if nothing else, we'd collect a lot more data that way, and it would be interesting.
Well, that's a hard and convoluted question with a lot to unpack. First off, I would say, and I would just touch base on the redistricting component that's happening right now across the states is really designed so that that Republican component of redistricting and gerrymandering lines up with that which has already been done by Democrats. I don't believe that all of that together will necessarily have impact on whether or not there's an electoral college, to elect the governor, that sort of thing. But it's the nature of evening the playing field with what has already been done by the Democrats, and the Republicans are actually following their lead and now taking action and trying to beat them at their own game.